Okay, welcome to devlog 2 for my game engine. So, just kind of laid out here. I've done quite a bit in the engine, and I want to split it up into multiple episodes. So, this one will be about the object loader and the lighting, which is pretty exciting. So, without further ado, I'll just go and show you what the app can do right now. You'll notice there's some sound and there's the cube that's moving, so just don't mind the audio for the moment because that'll be for next episode. Yeah, there's the bunny that's not moving, that cube is moving, and yeah, so other than that it looks pretty similar, but this is not a simple model. Just please excuse the fire sound, it's going to be a little bit loud. As you can see, there's a bunch of like there's a mesh there with a bunch of triangles, and also if I change it to this rendering mode, there's a bunch of points you can see, so vertices. So that's no longer a simple model like that cube that's way off in the distance there. And yeah, so that bunny is from, I think it's another Harvard model, but anyway. That bunny is kept in this object file, which contains all of the data. It's like thousands and thousands of lines long, 139,000 lines to contain this bunny. But the point is, now when you create your entities, so these are custom entities that I've just made to leave the code in this class pretty simple. So we'll have a look at that entity there. Oh, excuse me. Alright, so this entity, it just gets the rock wall texture, which if I hover over that, it's just that. And the cube object, which is that object file, like I was just saying, basically creates the entity for me, and then yeah, we interact with this. It's kind of like a wrapper. But that's just the cube object, so you could put all that code in here as well. I'll include a few like prefabs for entities. Like I'll leave the cube and bunny in the actual library. Might as well. But yeah, so this is how you can create these objects using the API and these prefab entities. Pretty much the same, except this time I've created a lighting system. So we now have worlds which control like the daylight cycle and all the lighting effects, like the skybox, which currently isn't working. So that'll be for a later devlog. But yeah, other than that, it's the same. Lighting. Yeah, that's all you need to do. So all you need to do to get it working is, I mean, if you set it to do the daylight cycle, it'll cycle every 10 minutes. Otherwise, it'll just stay at noon, pretty much. Yeah, so there's not much code change to the actual file, but there is lighting, as you can see. Like the bunny is shaded. They're being lit from like that kind of direction. But yeah, as you can see, this cube is slowly, the light source is slowly kind of transitioning. You see this edge closest to us is actually slightly lit because the daylight cycle is running at the moment. I don't know why. I guess I can show you on the bunny. But yeah, an easy way to tell is you'll see on the ear, that shadow will start rolling around the edge of the ear. Get away from that horrible fire sound. Yeah. So actually, I might just do the audio library as part of this one. So, audio library. So as you can hear, there is 3D audio in this scene. So there's a beeping sound coming from the cube and a fire coming from the bunny. And the beeping sound is getting slightly more faint as it gets further away. Whereas the fire does not get more faint. And as I move closer to this cube and catch up, you'll hear the beep get louder. So 3D audio, and it's the audio. I'll just show you now. So I've created some component prefabs, a listener, which I just set to the. Oh yeah, I should also mention this player object. So this is kind of like a wrapper for the camera, and the there's a point light and like kind of a glow you can add to your player based on a Where do I set it? Oh, it's on the actual player entity. Right, yeah. So there's a glow here. It's set to false currently. But basically that'll just follow the parent's position, which is the it's just the position of this entity it'll follow. So yeah, so now you create a player and pass in that camera, and then in the camera API method, or the getter, you just pass the get camera method instead of camera. So player kind of wraps the camera, and what else? So I register the audio, and this kind of opens the audio context, which like prepares the driver to play audio, which this needs to be done for any audio to play, and it needs to be given a listener. So I suggest like just add the listener. This player entity is already set up to have a listener on it. So yeah, so you can literally just pass the player into this method, and then it will set up the audio for you. And I've added some new events. So a component event. So basically, init gets components in it. That event gets run when the components are finished mounting onto all the entities. So you can use this event to basically safely adjust. It runs. So if here's the issue. I'm just gonna sit up. So the reason these events are necessary is because in this init, if I was to say do something like play the audio that I register in this init phase, this code is called before the components are initialized. So if you play them in this init method, it won't have any audio sources to play because they're not set up yet. So that's why if you hook into, so if you set up to listen to the component init event, you can hook into it like this and play all the different sounds you want then, and of course you can use this method to play it anywhere else. So if they press P, it could play a sound, for instance, in this hook. Just hit the mic with my headphones. But yeah, that's the point. That's the point of component events. So that's basically how the audio system works. It's pretty robust and easy to use. You kind of just like, this is how you create an audio source. And yeah, this audio source is currently a component, so you can add it to any entity. And basically, once you tell the source to play, it'll play this sound. And you can pause and play and do all that stuff to it, so you have full control. Which you can, I guess, you can play and pause it at any point in the app as well. I just want to stress you don't have to play and pause this at set times. I guess to demonstrate that, I'll just add a quick I'll add like a method to pause. So if it's key F4, and I might do a play F5. And all I want to do is on application dot no, if I do cube object dot get entity dot get component, so if I get the audio source that's attached to the cube entity, and then I can right. So in order to access the things, you need to do something like this. So you need to add a like one of these things, a cast. You need to cast the source, and now we can use the functions defined in the audio source class. So I'm going to source dot get source dot play or pause. So yeah, that's how you can say pause a source on a key press. I'll just quickly do the exact same thing, but this will just play it instead. Sick. So F4 will pause it and play it, and it will pause the cube. And you can see the cube stop beeping. And now it started again. Pause. Play. Pause. Play. So you have full control over these audio. I don't know what happened to the lighting there. Oh, it's the the player light is way too intense. So I'm just gonna turn that player light off again. So I might move this to a like a parameter, so that when you create the player here, you can decide whether it glows or not. But yeah, the current player light that's built in is way too bright. But yeah. So, yep, full control of audio at any time in the app. And that was kind of cool because you got to see like a bit of a live coding example of using the audio library. Anyway, I think that's everything new for now. So we got lighting, we got complex model loading that you can export straight from Blender into this app. And we've also got an audio library that's functioning and just uses components. So you can just mount them onto different entities like so. But yeah, I would recommend when creating your own game that you have your own kind of enum storing all your custom components, and not just using a string, because that's just my recommendation. I guess you can use a string if you want, but you'll have to remember to type it identically every time. That's why I chuck in a component enum. But yeah, anyway, that's all the new things. The skybox was working, but it's not, so I'll fix that before the next devlog. But yeah, it's really starting to shape up. We've got a lot in there that now you can control a lot of different things. Anyway, thanks.